So, Jack, last week you took on the challenge of writing a letter to yourself 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
I felt like it was a lot easier writing it than it was listening to it. Like I kind of didn't think about what I was talking about when I was writing. When I listened back to it, it was quite emotional to hear things like that coming from myself. So it was nice.
What was it like then sending it in for the whole world to hear?
Yeah, it was really nice because like usually when I speak in Soar, only maybe 10 or 20 people get to hear it. But this time I think the video has nearly 1,000 views, so it's nice to think that it could be impacting a lot more people. And I did get a lot of responses as well, and some of them were quite personal. Like I think someone told me that it helped him come out to some people like that night when he after he watched it, so it was nice to hear things like that.
Wow. Wow. And I know that's something that you spoke about in your letter, your experience of coming out. Was that a moment? Yeah, can you tell me about that moment in your life?
I'd been building myself up to it for years and trying to accept it for myself. Like I'd kind of thought that if I didn't think about it, it would go away, but obviously it didn't. Like you'd think, oh, maybe I'll wait another week, but then it lingers for years, and then you realise you have to start to accept it. And then when I did, then that's when you have to build up the courage to start telling other people. So.
And if you go back to those years or months or weeks, kind of when you were building up to it and waiting, what were some of the feelings that you had then?
I felt like I wanted to get away from everything. Like I remember I deleted social media. I think it was for a week or 2 weeks. I just wanted to not want to talk to people. Maybe I felt like I would let something slip or tell someone by accident, and I wanted to tell the people I was close to in person, like before I started telling everyone else. So
what was it like feeling like you had to hide a part of yourself?
yeah, it's frustrating because I felt like I didn't want that part of me. I didn't want to have to be different. I was trying to decide as well whether I was gay or bi, or but that's hard enough because I felt like I'd just want to be gay or straight. I just want to be one or the other, but like I'm bi, so it is different. So like that was something in itself, and then having to tell people is harder, and then they're asking more about the labels and stuff, which can be frustrating. But yeah, I told my mom for the first time, and like it does feel like a great like weight off your shoulders. And I know that's kind of cliche, but it is. Like it's just, but then it's not much of a weight because you start worrying about what everyone else will think then. So like you have to tell hundreds of people over the years, and you don't know how each individual will react. So it is nerve-wracking.
And I think that's something else you spoke about in your letter around reactions of others and the response. What was that like for you?
I felt like I just needed to feel accepted and recognized, like in that moment. Like people were worried about how everyone else would react, but in that moment I just needed to feel like I was accepted. And I know maybe those people felt like they didn't need to say it, but like I feel like for me personally, if I was so paranoid, overthinking it for years, then when it does come around, like I think the obvious things need to be said to reassure me. Like
I think that's so important. Like you build up something for so long, and the other person may not be prepared, or they may be quite scared when they hear something. So if you were to meet yourself those years ago, what would you say to yourself?
I'd say like not much change. It's like it's only a small part of you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't change much. Maybe one or two people's opinions will change, but then you just realise that you don't need them in your life anyway. So it can be like a good phase of like realisation and putting things in perspective, I suppose.
What are some of the things that helped you to start accepting different parts of yourself?
You kind of feel like if you don't accept it now, when will you? Like it's, if you don't talk about the things you feel like need to be spoken about, then you probably never will. So it's kind of like a now or never mentality, I suppose. Yeah, it does feel strange to talk about it, because some of the things I talk about now, I would have never heard anyone talk about before. I would never have heard like a man talk about them before. So it is nice to think that maybe other people can hear those things for the first time, and it'll be coming from me, because some things do need to be said and need to be heard.
What are some of those things, Jack?
Like in my last video, I spoke about body confidence, and I don't think that's spoken about enough amongst men, so I feel like it is really important. And I feel like some men would feel like it's not, they feel like they're the only ones. Like someone said that to me after watching my video. They were like shocked that they heard those words coming out of a guy's mouth, because men just don't talk about body image. But I feel like we're pressured into that, because it could be so much easier to just generalize the advice that they're giving out on social media. Like they say they give out some really good advice, but they kind of just use the word women or girls, or like you can just say people, like just to generalize it.
And why do you think it's hard for men to have these conversations?
They don't talk enough about important stuff anyway, but I feel like body image is even more so, because some of them mightn't even notice it themselves. Like even if they go to the gym like an unhealthy amount, that wouldn't really be viewed necessarily as a body image thing, but I feel like it definitely is.
What do you think the value in having more real and honest conversations about difficult topics is?
It is reassuring that there's other people out there going through the same thing. Like I know it would have helped me if I heard someone close to me saying those things. So
what would a piece of advice be for anyone watching who wants to take that step, to be courageous and to maybe let more of themselves be seen? What would you say to them?
Again, it's kind of like, if you don't do it now, when will you do it? Like there's no point in putting off letting people know those little small parts of you, and they may feel insignificant, especially if you think about it all the time. But if you think about it all the time, then you should let the people around you know, because then it does help them to get to know you better.
Has it taught you anything?
It has helped with things like if I try to remember if I've spoken about some really important issues to a group of strangers like I have in Soar, then I can talk about something small to someone close to me. Like it does help put things in perspective.
And has it changed your relationships at all?
Yeah, I feel like even over the last few months, like my relationships with family and friends have become a lot more open, and like you're not hiding anything. Like there's no point. It's just like you won't be here forever, so you just may as well let everyone know what you're thinking and exactly who you are. Like